When I watched Felix Baumgartner jump from the edge of space, my jaw hit the floor. He takes a balloon ride to the stratosphere, jumps, breaks the sound barrier on the way down, and nails the landing. It's a fascinating, gripping spectacle, but I want to talk about something today that was perhaps not as obvious. Red Bull spent $65 million to help Felix jump from space, and not one can of Red Bull ever appeared on film. Why? I love advertising for the art of it. Behind that ad you probably skipped before this video was thousands of human hours and millions of dollars, all purpose to sell to human minds that are calloused after watching hundreds of ads every day. How do you stand out amidst a sea of product placements, jingles, and sales pitches? Every company has their own strategy and brand identity. A few examples we've actually talked about here on the channel. Marlboro, they try to sell an identity. Axe tries to sell sex, of course. Apple tries to sell status and an experience. But the one thing they all have in common is that they all sell. When everything's said and done, they all put out their product on display to eventually try to sell to you. To remind you that, hey, we have this new shoe or phone or whatever. Everyone except Red Bull. This is what, for me, made the Stratos jump so remarkable. The video ended without a single Red Bull can in shot, not in the short 1-minute version, not in the 4-minute cut. Their brand is Red Bull gives you wings. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better product placement. Felix is practically Icarus incarnate, goes from the sky, your product gives him wings, and he lands, and never does he pull out the product and just take a drink. If you are thinking like an advertiser, this is mind-blowing. It doesn't make sense. But I think that's maybe the point. Red Bull fundamentally thinks about stories and advertising differently than almost every other company I know. I think Red Bull knows that if they had handed Felix a Red Bull can right after he had just risked his life for one of the most daring human stunts ever, it would have cheapened it. It would have taken away something from the grit. That would have all sort of faded into the background. And to show you exactly what I mean, I want you to take a look at this.
Mark is my technically stepdad, but really my dad.
This is my wonderful stepdad, Randy. It feels like he's been around forever.
This is a Budweiser ad, which is a tribute to stepfathers who made a difference in their kids' lives on Father's Day. And it is content advertising similar to the Red Bull jump. Budweiser is attempting to attach its name to a compelling story in order to further bolster their brand name and goodwill. But as the viewer, it's hard to fully buy into it, because Budweiser takes great pains to do the traditional thing, show the product. But when they do that, as a viewer, you kind of remember, oh yeah, this is just a beer company trying to sell to me. Budweiser becomes the story, and the heartwarming moment of a child asking their stepfather to adopt them becomes the background. Or at least it's fair to say that Budweiser isn't exactly subtle.
This is kind of a part of this that you didn't really know. I wanted to actually ask you to legally adopt me, because
there's nothing wrong with this ad, of course, but in the end, it feels like a commercial, and some of that goodwill vanishes, which is the central difference between Red Bull and so many other advertisers. Red Bull's content doesn't feel like a commercial by design. They are the content itself, and they want to keep it that way, which is why when there's a conflict between the story and the product, they focus on the story. This isn't to say Red Bull never shows their product. Sometimes they do find ways to fit it in, but more often than not, you'll see restraint. Take, for instance, Imagine It, one of their biggest videos ever, Danny McCaskill as a kid imagining himself one day to be a successful pro writer. Now ask yourself, does it make any sense for this kid to be imagining a Red Bull energy drink? No. So they leave it out. They realize it wouldn't make any sense within the story, so they once again put the story first. And 41 million views later, it's hard to tell. Do we classify this as advertising? The product isn't in sight. There's only a logo on a helmet, so it's hard to say. And sometimes, because Red Bull so consistently blurs the line between advertising and content, it feels like Red Bull is only trying to sell energy drinks to fuel their insane sports media production company, not the other way around. And yet, despite this seeming indifference to the actual product, the massive attention their brand gets still drives sales. After Felix's jump, Red Bull sales went up 7%, which translates to hundreds of millions of dollars, proving that sometimes when you make great content, you don't need to shill your product. Sometimes you need to get out of the way and let the content speak for itself. And now it's finally time to address everything that's going back around here. We have a brand new set, and you also might be asking yourself, why is the disembodied voice talking to me with a face now? Fair question, we'll get to that as well. But first, I want to talk to you about our sponsor today, because Felix Baumgartner is not the only one with a cool sponsor. Today we have ExpressVPN. Now I know you're all asking yourself, Steven, are you going to space for ExpressVPN and also doing a death-defying jump? I'm working up to that, okay? We're moving the bar towards that. Right now, it's kind of at the, why don't you just do the ad read, okay? Dance, monkey. No, I'm just kidding. The ExpressVPN people are very lovely, and they're part of what makes this channel possible. I go to coffee shops all the time to write because I'm addicted to caffeine, and I enjoy just sitting quietly with a bunch of other strangers and never communicating with them. But when you do that, you run into the all too familiar problem of really bad unencrypted Wi-Fi, where your public information is available for anyone to see, look at, and steal. And so for me, that just isn't an option, which is why I trust ExpressVPN to protect my data. They're the #1 VPN according to TechRadar, and they are the fastest VPN. But what's most important to me is that it's easy to use. I'm just gonna show you how I use it. I'm actually connected right now. I'll just unconnect, and then I'll just reconnect right here. And within about 2 or 3 seconds, I'm connected. So if you find yourself at coffee shops a lot, if you find yourself as a student or you're traveling abroad, anywhere you need to secure your data, secure it with ExpressVPN. And to find out how you can support the show and how you can get 3 months free, go to expressvpn.com/coffeebreak. That's expressvpn.com/coffeebreak. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out, see how it fits your life. I'm confident you will enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. And now let's address the studio. Yes, guys, we've kind of changed things a lot, bringing more of the production in-house, having more of a personal connection with you, not just being a disembodied voice anymore. This is something I wanted to do for a while. I think it's a real opportunity to change up the format, to do new things, and I hope you'll come with me on this journey. We have some really great videos coming up. I can't wait to show them and share them with you, but I just wanted to tell you that yes, things are changing, but in a lot of ways, the content is staying the same, and I thank each and every one of you for supporting us to get this far, and we're only gonna take the channel farther. So I'm really excited with what the future brings, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.